Hello friends, welcome to the Point. In this session, let's discuss about the Chola Empire. So after the decline of Sangam period, the Cholas became the feudatories of Urayur, and they became prominent during 9th century, and they established an empire that comprises the major portion of South India, and the capital of Chola was Tanjore. So they extended their sway in Sri Lanka and the Malay Peninsula. So therefore they are called as Imperial Cholas. Thousands of inscriptions are found in the temple, and they provide a detailed information regarding the administration, society, economy and culture of Chola period. The founder of this Imperial Chola was Vijayalaya, and he captured Tanjore from Muttarayars in 1815 AD, and he built a temple for Durga. His son Aditya, he put an end to Pallava kingdom by defeating Aprajita, and he annexed Tondaimandalam. Parantaka I, he was one of the important early Chola rulers. He defeated the Pandyas and the ruler of Ceylon, means Sri Lanka, but he suffered a defeat at the hands of Rashtrakutas in the famous battle of Takkolam. Parantaka I, he was a great builder of temples. He also provided the Vimana of the famous Nataraja temple at Chidambaram with a golden roof. Rajaraja I. So it was under Rajaraja I and his son Rajendra I that the Chola power reached its highest point of glory. So his military conquests were the defeat of Chera ruler Bhaskara Ravivarman in the naval battle of Kandalur Salai and the destruction of Chera Navy. The defeat of Pandya ruler Amarabhujanga and establishment of Chola authority in Pandya country. The conquest of Gangavadi, Tadigaipadi and Nolambapadi. It's located in the Mysore region. So the invasion of Sri Lanka, which was entrusted to his son Rajendra I. So as a Sri Lankan king, his name is Mahinda V. He fled away from his country. This Cholas, they annexed the northern Sri Lanka, and the capital was shifted from Anuradhapura to Pollanurua, where a Shiva temple was built in Sri Lanka. The Cholas' victory was growing in the western Chalukyas of Kalyani, and Satyashraya, he was defeated, and Rajaraja I, he captured the Raichur Doab. Rajaraja's last military achievement was a naval expedition against the Maldive Islands, which were conquered. So beside this conquest, the extent of the Chola Empire under Rajaraja I, it included the Pandya, Chera and Tondaimandalam regions of Tamil Nadu and Gangavadi. Rajendra I. So Rajendra, he demolished his military ability by participating in his father's campaign. He continued his father's policy of aggressive conquest and expansion. His important wars were Mahinda V. The king of Sri Lanka attempted to recover from the Cholas the northern part of Ceylon, and here the Rajendra defeated him and seized the southern Sri Lanka. Thus the whole of Sri Lanka, it was made part of Chola Empire now. He reasserted the Chola authority over the Cheras and the Pandya countries. Rajendra defeated Jayasimha II, the western Chalukyan king, and the river Tungabhadra, it was recognized as the boundary between the Cholas and Chalukyas. So his most famous military enterprise was his expedition to North India. The Chola army crossed the Ganges by defeating a number of rulers on its way. Rajendra defeated Mahipala I of Bengal. So to commemorate this successful North Indian campaign, Rajendra founded the city of Gangaikonda Cholapuram and constructed the famous Rajeshwaram temple in that city. So another famous venture of Rajendra was his naval expedition to Kadaram of Sri Vijaya. Chola administration. The Cholas, they had an excellent system of administration. The emperor or king, he was at the top of administration. The extent and the resources of Chola Empire, it increased the power and prestige of monarchy. The big capital cities like Tanjavur and Gangaikonda Cholapuram, the large royal courts and the extensive grants to the temples, they reveal the authority of the king. They undertook royal tours to increase the efficiency of the administration. There was elaborate administrative machinery comprising various officials called Perundanam and Sirundanam. Next comes revenue. The land revenue department, it was well organized. All lands were carefully surveyed and it classified for assessment of revenue. The residential portion of the village, it was called Urnatam. So this and the other lands such as land belonging to temple, it were exempted from tax. Beside land revenue, there were tolls and customs on goods that is taken from one place to another. So various kinds of professional taxes, dues levied on ceremonial occasions like marriage and judicial fines. Military administration. The Cholas, they maintained a regular standing army consisting of elements, cavalry, infantry and navy, and about 70 regiments were mentioned in the inscription. The royal troops were called Kaikolla Perumpade. So within this there was a personal troop to defend the king and they were known as Velaikarar. And attention was given to the training of the army and military cantonments called Kadagams existed. So the Cholas paid attention to their navy. The naval achievements of the Tamil, it reached the climax under Cholas. They controlled the Malabar and Coromandel coast. In fact, the Bay of Bengal became a Chola lake for some time. Provincial administration. The Chola Empire, it was divided into mandalams and each mandalam into valandus and nadus. Each nadu, they were a number of autonomous villages and the royal princes or officers were in charge of mandalams. So the Valanadu, it was under Periyanatar and Nadu, it was under Natar. So the town, it was known as Nagaram and it was under the administration of a council called Nagaratar. Village assemblies. The system of village autonomy with sabhas and their committees, it developed through the ages and it reached its culmination during the Chola rule. Two inscriptions belonging to the period of Parantaka I, it is found at Uttiramerur. It provides a detail of formation and functions of village councils, and that village, it was divided into 30 wards and each was to nominate its members to village council. Socio-economic life. So caste system, as usual, it was prevalent during Chola period. Brahmins and Kshatriyas, they enjoyed a special privileges. The inscriptions of the later Vedic period of the Chola rule, it mentions about two major divisions among the state. They are Valangai and Idangai caste. So there was a cooperation among various caste and subcaste in social and religious life. The position of women, it did not improve in Chola period also, and the practice of sati, it was among the royal families, and the Devadasi system or dancing girls, it attached to temples and it was emerged during this period. The temples, it remained centers for economic activity during this period, and the matas had a great influence during this period. Both agriculture and industry flourished. Commerce and trade, it were brisk with trunk roads or which is called as peruvalis and merchant guilds. Gold, silver and copper coins were issued in plenty, and they were also issued with various denominations. Commercial contacts between the Chola Empire and China, Sumatra, Java and Arabia, it were extensively prevalent. Arabian horses were imported in large number to strengthen the cavalry. Education and literature. So education was given importance here. So beside the temples and mathas as educational centers, several educational institutions, they also flourished. Shivakasintamani, which was written by Tirutta Khadevar and Kundalakesi, it belonged to 10th century. And the Ramayana, which was composed by Kamban, and the Periya Puranam or Tiruttonda Puranam by Secular, or the two masterpieces of this age. Art and architecture. Dravidian style of art and architecture, it reached its perfection under the Cholas. So they built enormous temples. The chief features of the Chola temple is Vimana. And the early Chola temples, they are found at Nardamalai and Kodumbalur in Pudukkottai district in Tamil Nadu. And the big temples, they are found at Tanjavur, and it is built by Rajaraja I. The walls of Chola temples such as Tanjavur and Gangaikonda Cholapuram temples contain numerous icons of large size and fine execution. The bronze statues of Nataraja or dancing Shiva, they are the masterpieces. The Chola paintings were found on the walls of Nardamalai and Tanjavur temples. See you all in the next session with some other interesting topic. Thank you.